Hello, and welcome to the latest Helper video. This video is about Unit 2, Lesson 13, City Planning. This is the idea that you're using ratio again, and we're using it to plan a city. We may have 2 groups of items that we're going to distribute, or we may have 3. In any case, we have to worry about what the total is because we only have a total number of squares that we have to fix up and assign to. So we want to make sure that our ratios match that total, and that's the idea of this. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. In this first example, there's only 2 types of things that we can have. We can either have H for housing or P for park. So off to the side, I'm going to write down the ratio that we want. So we have 2 sections of park for every 3 sections of housing. So that would be 2, so parks, housing, 3. But we have to worry about the total because the total of 2 sections of park and 3 sections of housing is 5. Now we have this grid here that we're going to be distributing these into. So we'll worry about the total first. The total number of grids is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So there are 20 total grids that we are assigning to. So now let's figure out how to assign them. Well, I'm going from 5 total to 20 total, so that means times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 2 times 4 is 8, which means that we will have 8 park sections, 12 housing sections, and together they will make up the 20. Notice 8 plus 12 equals 20. Just as 2 plus 3 equals 5. So that will be our entire design. So I'll start to put out park sections, and I'll only put out 8 of them. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 park sections. Now I'll put in 12 housing sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that uses up all 20 squares, and now there are 8 and 12. So does that satisfy it? Is 2 to 3 equal to 8 to 12? Well, 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 4 is 12, so yes. This satisfies the conditions. We've used up all the sections of the city, and we have assigned a ratio of for every 2 park sections, there are 3 sections of housing. Let's try the next one. So this time we want 3 sections of park for 2 sections of housing and 1 section of industrial. So let's write that out. Park, housing, industrial. Park is 3, 2 for housing. Industrial is 1. Okay. So now that's more housing, more parkland than we had before. So let's find the total. 3 and 2 is 5, and 1 more makes 6. Okay? So we want to fill up this section of P's, H's, and I's. How many grids do we have to fill up? What's our total of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 times 5 is 30. The total is 30, so now we're going to figure out how we can distribute those. Well, the total that we have from our ratios given to us is 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6, and this is times 5. So we will multiply each of these times 5 also. 3 times 5 is 15. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. 15 plus 10 is 25 plus 5 equals 30, so it does add up. Let's now distribute. I'm going to do the industrial first, 5. Now, generally, you want the industrial on the outside of town, so I'm going to put them as far out as I can go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Industrial's kind of stinky usually, a little bit of pollution, so you put it on the outside of town. 5. So there's my 5 industrial. Now I'll put in 10 housings. So I'll put in parks next. I should want to surround the industrial with parks because that will leave the dirty part on the outside and the parks next to it will give it some space to clean up the air. So I'll put, how many parks? 15 parks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 2 more, so I'll 14, 15. Now there should be 10 spaces left for housing, so let's see if there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've used up all the spaces. Now, does this satisfy? Is it 3 park for every 2 housing for every 1 industrial? 3 to 2 to 1, and this is 15 to 10 to 5. Well, this is times 5, this is times 5, and this is times 5, so it satisfies what we wanted. And that's the idea of this. Write out the numbers, find the total in the grid, see what to multiply by, multiply each of your numbers by that number, get your totals, and distribute according to those totals, and it will work out. You will make the correct numbers for each type. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher.